Welcome to Lemon Stream, where we feature stories of the unknown, mysteries, post-apocalyptic fiction, and other weird stuff. So settle in, get comfortable, get ready. Here we go. The New World, Chapter 20, True North. The group got up before the sun again. Michael started a fire so that Ma and Denise could work on breakfast. Darren brewed coffee as the ladies picked up a stack of pancakes. Since it was a special day, they indulged a little by pulling out a jar of ghee and a bottle of maple syrup and a can of bacon-flavored canned pork. "Before I eat," said Michael, as the ladies began passing out plates, "I'm going to step out and grab some firewood and fill that box back up for later. And then I'll eat." He opened the front door and froze in the doorway. Ma and Jolene walked up behind him and stopped in their tracks. It was snowing. There were at least 4 inches on the ground, and it was still coming down so heavily they could barely see the road from the door. Michael closed the door and turned. "Oh, shit," he said. "I didn't expect that." The others went to the door one by one, peeking out. "We all knew it was coming," said Michael, "but I didn't expect that today. I really hoped it would be late this year." "We're going to have to postpone the trip today," said Sylvia. "I think we should still go," said Darren. "In the snow?" Sylvia asked. "Yes," he answered. "It's not going to be ideal, but we need to find food. We will not make it to spring without food, and I'll go out in the snow and do this rather than watch my children slowly starve to death." Jo nodded her head. "I hate the idea of them going out in the storm," she said. "But he's right. We need to get this moving ahead." "The longer we put it off," said Darren, "the more likely we are to lose food to cans splitting and jars bursting when they freeze in all those unheated houses. And the storm today, other people are less likely to be out in it. And if they are, the visibility is going to be so bad they won't be able to see us coming." "I guess," said Sylvia. I hate it. But we do need it, regardless the weather." "I'm in," said Sandy. "I don't have any boots, but I'll put a couple layers of socks on." "Me too," said Stevie. "I say we go." "If you guys are going," said Denise, "then so am I." "All right," Darren said. "After we get some hot food in us, we'll suit up best we can and head up the road." A gust of wind blew by, rippling the plastic on the front windows. "We really need to replace those," said Sandy, "or board them up. We're going to lose so much heat through those broken windows this winter." "Oh, if we'd been thinking," said Stevie, we could have pulled some windows out of the McSpadden place. Even if the size was a little different, we could frame them up to fit." "It's probably too late for that now," said Sandy. "We'll just have to keep an eye out when we go up the road." "Those McSpadden boys were wearing boots when we dragged them off into the woods," said Michael. "Maybe you could—" "Nah, I'm all set with that," Sandy cut him off, holding up his hand. "Even if they didn't have rotted flesh in them by now, I wouldn't want anything that touched those raunchy feet. I'll stick to my sneakers." While Michael filled the wood box, the others ate the best breakfast they'd had in a long time. Right after, the team of 4 suited up, doing their best to find scarves, coats, boots, and shoes that fit. They headed out the door, stepping carefully in the snow. Soon, they disappeared into the wall of snow. "I'm going to need the kids today," said Michael. "We've got a bunch of wood down and cut, but most of it is still where we cut it. We need to get it up to the house." "Well, they need to know that everybody does their part," Jo nodded. "I'll help too, since the kids will be working instead of doing school. I guess it's a snow day." "Sounds good," said Michael. "We'll haul it from the big pile by the maple blowdowns and stack it right in the front yard so it's easy to get this winter." Michael, Jo, Timmy, and Nathan suited up and went out into the storm to haul firewood. The smaller children stayed with Ma and Sylvia to clean house and move supplies around. Ma was in the kitchen, heating water to wash dishes and clothing, when there was a bang, bang, bang at the front door. She tried to peek out a window, but couldn't see anything through the layers of plastic. She picked up the 9mm from a bag hanging by the door and cautiously opened it. It was Stevie. Ma stepped quickly aside, and Stevie pushed through the door, bags under both arms and a pack on his back. He set down his burdens on the table and unwrapped the scarf that was wound several times around his face. "Oh," Stevie said, "that didn't seem so heavy when I left there." He looked exhausted. Stevie held his arms over the stove to warm them. "We're going to get some good stuff from there," he said. I brought some back here because I was coming back anyway to let everyone know what was going on." Ma pulled the first bag open. It was full of canned food. She pulled the pack open and gasped. Reaching in, she pulled out a 25-pound bag of flour and lay it on the table. She went back into the pack and pulled out 2 5-pound bags of sugar and 2 4-pound bags of pickling salt. She opened the last bag to find 2 gallons of apple cider vinegar and some canned chicken. "This is great stuff," she said, hardly containing her excitement. "They were ready for anything," Stevie said. "Well, except radioactive fallout, I guess. It looks like they died together in their bed. Darren says we should bury their bodies in the spring in honor of what they gave us." "Oh," Ma exclaimed, "I agree. How much more like this is there?" "Quite a bit," Stevie said. "There's more flour and sugar and salt, all kinds of seasonings and spices. There's a ton of canned veggies and fruit, a bunch of bags of different beans. Darren found a box in their pantry with all kinds of seeds. And the barn, it's full of old hand tools and lots of bales of hay. The upstairs closet has all kinds of homemade quilts, and Sandy found a pair of work boots that fit him. And in the basement, there's just shelf after shelf of canning jars filled with food. Most of them don't have labels or dates, so Denise says, well, that'll make it harder, but there's so much down there." They're still searching the place. Darren started a fire in the wood stove to warm things up and make it easier to work. Oh, and Darren found a bunch of coffee. It's all whole beans, so it needs to be ground. Ma had tears in her eyes. "We've needed this," she cried. "We've needed this for so long. We've needed something to go right for a change, for something good to happen." She hugged Stevie. "Oh, Stevie," she said, letting go of him. "For so long, all I've been able to see is death. Everyone just dying. All of us dying. I couldn't even see into the future because there was just a brick wall, but I think we're going to make it now." Stevie smiled. "I know, Ma," he said. "It's so nice to have good news. It seemed like we were all going to just starve to death. I even thought about, well, just shooting myself when we ran out of food so I wouldn't have to watch everyone else starve and die." "Don't ever think like that," Ma scolded through her tears. "We'll always find a way. We'll always find hope. I know we will. And I'm sorry for doubting it now. God never left us. All this time, His blessing was just up the road waiting for us to find it." "I wish Dad were here for this," Stevie said. "I wish Sid was here to play in the snow. I wish I could make a snowman with him." Now Stevie was choking back his own tears. "Yes," Ma said. "Yes, that would have been nice, but there are people that are here, and we need to focus on them now. Don't forget those that are gone, because we honor them with our memory, but we need to remember that the ones that are still here with us need us. We can't do anything for the ones that are gone, but the ones that are still here, we can do a lot for them."